All right, we got another great announcement here today. Most of you, if you are in our financial services company, you might know this gentleman. He's got an organization, very successful group, and makes a bunch of money in financial services. But before financial services, him, Jason, and a bunch of people from his organization worked in Arizona at a very large company that specialized in the debt space, and one of the biggest companies in the nation. And they found a better way to do it with better compensation. And so you're going to hear, he brought it to me 2 years ago. I don't know what it was. He pinned me down at a convention, said, Jeff, just like Gabe pinned me down and said, we have to do Medicare Advantage. And then he said, we have to improve on our debt platform and what we're able to do helping clients. And I said, well, I don't know much about it, but please tell me. And he followed up and finally stepped up and put together with Ox. You're going to meet Ox in a minute, and Zoe, believe it or not. Zoe, I hope all of them will speak today for you. But we've got Prosperity Financial Network. We have Alex Lopez here. Let's hear it for Alex, everybody.
Thanks, Jeff. So I did relentlessly follow up with Jeff, because that's one thing I've literally found, that you have to do that with every person. So I'm glad to be here with you guys. One of the biggest things is with Prosperity, all the contact information is there. I'd recommend taking a picture of it right now, because it's not going to stay up there very long. But can I go to the next slide, please? Thanks. All right. So why did this happen? So just to give you guys a little bit of background. So years ago, I got diagnosed with cancer, lost everything. Called my friend and said, I found this business. If you move back to Arizona, I'm going to get you a temporary job while we go build this WFG thing, right? So he got me a job at a place. I don't really want to say her name, but maybe I'll drop it later. But the biggest thing I saw when I was there was, when I got there, it was helping people get out of debt. It was doing things as they were small. It was, I'd say, ethically being done when they were small. The biggest problem as things grow, they start doing things faster, hiring faster, not watching people, not regulating people. And to me, as you get bigger, you should work harder on being better. So as we do that, I would watch people lie, not disclose everything, be very not transparent. And from seeing that, I said, there's got to be a better way to do it. So it was, I think, June of 2018, where I made a call. I said, I can't do this anymore. And then I started the journey to get out of there. So October of 2018, I quit. And from there, I said, there's got to still be a way that we can do this where I can help people out and get out of it. So I was designing debt plans for people myself. Say, hey, if you can do this exactly as I'm prescribing, you'll get out of it on your own. You won't have to worry about anything else. If you can't, there's a program I know about that some of you might know. It's Debt America, right? But they send back to another company called, I don't know, it reminds me of like Freedom or something, Freedom Financial. So as I look at it, I thought about it, and they give up a big chunk, right? As I worked at that company doing debt relief, I would work, 50, 60 hours, enroll $1 million in a month, just sitting there on cold leads, right? So turning cold leads. And the highest check I think I got in a month was about $17,000. So imagine giving your family 120 hours all the time, not being home, and somebody else taking it, and then calling you greedy, selfish, and ungrateful because you're getting paid too much. So that's where it changed for me. And I looked at it and I brought it to Jeff, because the biggest thing that I've seen that Jeff does is he appreciates the field force more than anything else, more than the business itself, because they're bringing the business to the table. So with that, as we kind of looked at it, there's services we started offering, but I just knew that there was another way we can do it to where everybody can get paid, everybody can enjoy it, and they can learn more, because I'm all about the education. So when I was doing debt enrollment, it was about literally teach Rule 72, which I learned from another business. I would make the enemy, the credit card company, and say, let's go do this. Let's go do it together, and don't be embarrassed about it. Because I'm a firm believer that there's a lot of people in debt that are embarrassed. But if you're so embarrassed about people finding out, then just don't have it. Work to get out of it. So I can go to the next slide, please. So what we offer: debt solutions, student loan forgiveness, and credit repair. Right off the bat, the biggest thing is, as we go through, when I sit with somebody, it's a matter of, hey, can we get out of this without having to use this service? Because that's how we built referrals and distribution systems all along. You take care of somebody, you treat them right because somebody else didn't. And then from there, they give you everybody they know. Next one. Okay. So talking about the financial crisis, you think about it, right now, our country is $15 trillion in consumer debt. In the first half of this year, we put $700 billion on credit cards, new mortgages that are overpriced, overinflated. You think about it, we're now in a process to where people are literally going to be losing a lot because they can't keep up with it, right? You think about this, you have a government that gives more money to other countries than our own people. You've got all these things that happen. And I'm a firm believer that the system is basically not built for our clients to be taken care of. You know, they're not teaching them the things that they need. You figure you've got people, and it says up there, right? I definitely stole this slide from Seuss, by the way. Thank you, Seuss. So you got people upside down, and they're laid off, right? They're out of cash. They're in a position where somebody gets sick, a person whose family has suffered from sickness. Literally, I mean, I had a son with chronic kidney failure in November. Wife had emergency surgery in March of last year. I was in the hospital in June. Things always happen. And those can lead you to being in debt. You go next slide, please. And there's nobody that's safe from it. You look at baby boomers, you look at Gen X, it doesn't matter who you look at, right? Everybody's in debt. And I don't think they're getting any smarter about it. The problem is, you know, the education that they're getting at 18 years old is not enough, but they give them a credit card at 18 and a half. And I'll be honest with you guys. So I got a quick question. I got my first credit card. And if this sounds like you, let me know. I got a $300 credit card at noon, and it was maxed out at 3. And then I couldn't pay it back because I only made $150 a week at that point. And then it got closed. Like, it was like my shortest credit card was 3 weeks, right? How many of you have really had that happen? If you're embarrassed about it, don't worry about it. You don't have to say anything about it. But so kind of looking at this, I said, you know, as I talk to people about debt, the biggest thing was, you know, people just want to feel like this person is not judging them. They want to feel like, hey, like you should get out of this. You can get out of it, but there's got to be a better way to do it. So next slide. So debt settlement side. The biggest thing is bringing that transparency to the industry. So next slide. This one's quick. Okay. So our back-end service is very simple. So Ox, if you can stand up for me real quick, I might bring up. So this is Ox. By the way, Owen's restaurants are amazing. I eat at a lot. So the biggest thing is, you know, when I met Ox, it came out of a need for something, right? I said, hey, you know, I was looking at the Debt America thing. It wasn't working out. And I said, I still got to send somebody somewhere, but I don't want to go to that Freedom company that I was, you know, working for because I know the way they operate. So a friend introduced us, and then we started looking at this. The biggest thing that I think about this that attracted me, they're the only company I know of in debt relief that's accredited and A+ rating on the BBB, which means they're taking care of their clients. They have the lowest complaint rate of any company in the industry. Like, that's a big factor to me because it's all about being client centric, right? How many of you guys call a carrier and you're pissed off because they're not taking care of your client and you're angry and you're not even a part of the situation anymore, but you're willing to do that because you care about the people you're doing business with? So the settlement fees, they're a lot different. Here's a scenario. Imagine you have $100,000 in debt and this company tells you they're going to get you out of it for 20%, $20,000, whatever it may be. And let's say they have one credit card that has $10,000 on it, but this creditor hates that company and will not work with them. And let's say the fee for a $10,000 card is $2,500. Hopefully you guys like math. I love math. So it's $2,500. What if that person only gets you out of it and saves you 5 cents on the dollar? So you're getting at it for $9,500. And you end up paying what, $12,000 for a debt you could have paid off yourself for 10. To me, I don't find that very ethical. So the way we operate is they take 33% of the savings and they're never charged more than they're disclosed up front. So it's not going to change unless it's the client paying less. So if they only save $500, they're taking 33% of $500. The client never goes over their debt, which doesn't happen because I've seen the settlements from that company to this company, from this creditor to that creditor, and it's drastically more, drastically better. So, sorry, I thought I had it closer, but you know, you look at it, well, the one thing is they're consistent, right? So a lot of companies in debt relief are getting a lot of trouble because they're automating everything. They're literally saying, hey, here's a list of people. Let's get just something settled in place, 1,000 accounts, give me, I don't know, give me 40 cents off, and we'll tell you it's the best we could do. Okay, so our backend has no chance and no process or no intention to stop doing what they're doing person to person and automate the system. So if you think about it, clients are literally getting the best that they can do, the best they can get. A big part of it is highly customer centric. If there's a problem, it's somebody to get a hold of very easily, people that get back to them, and they have a dashboard that can manage their debt. And there's a whole other process that we kind of talk about going forward. So next slide. The debts that can be settled, right? Very simple. It's on screen. I don't want to read them all off, but you know, you think about it, everybody has these. right? You look at it, people get in these situations where they move out of an apartment because something happens, someone gets sick. In COVID, that happened. Some of you have real estate that your renters weren't paying you anything. And let's be realistic, if they weren't paying you, you've got to do something about it. So we can take those debts, put them in a program, get them in a payment that's usually half, if not more, or if not better than what they're paying monthly on minimum payments, never getting out of the debt cycle. Next slide. Student loan forgiveness. Some of you may use this process, but what is, we brought this in and put it all under one roof to make it easier, to make it a lot more streamlined. So student loan forgiveness allows us to work with federal student loans to do the process. And I'm being completely transparent. Your client could do it all themselves. They don't need a company to do it, but they're not going to. Right? How many of you say, hey, I tell clients all the time, you know, you could do this yourself, now you understand it, but lucky for me, you don't have a license and I get to do it for you. So imagine if that's the case, but realistically, if you have to file a piece of paper for 20 years, how many people are know for without a shadow of a doubt that they would continue to do it for 20 years? Anyone? I wouldn't. I know because I tried doing it myself the first year and it didn't work out. I missed the deadline by like 6 months. So next one, credit repair. Everything that we're doing is about being ethical, moral, legal, and doing it right. Even the credit repair side of it, money back guarantee, they continue working on it. They're not in a position to where they just put it out there and say, we're gonna do the best we can. A lot of companies do that. The difference is, as they work with these companies, they're having notarized letters, they're having letters actually sent, they're doing an electronic process. Everything's very innovative to make sure it's the easiest for the client, that done for you situation. Next one. All right, let's talk about money. Everybody likes money. Is there anybody that doesn't like money in here? Is that not funny? You guys are dead, jeez. All right, so let's talk about personal production. So personal production, imagine helping 10 families start a debt solution in a debt solutions program, 75,000 each. So I averaged enrolling about 81,000 debt when I was enrolling. Okay, so I'd have to enroll 62 people to get 1% of the total debt. So imagine if you had $1 million, you made 10 grand. Sounds good, I guess, right? Until it's not. So here, as a debt solution specialist, which is the second level from the, getting in, learning the process and training, imagine you have a 40% contract, you have $750,000, 75 times 10. And then from there, you multiply by 0.05 because we send 5% to the field. 37,000 points for easy, and because a lot of you are used to points, 40% that $15,000. If I enrolled $750,000 in that program I was in before, I would have made about $7,500. Having to work 60, 70 hours and not being happy with it. As that other position, a senior director, which obviously we'll have all that at a later time, explain how that works. Imagine a 0.75% contract. So somebody I'm gonna bring up here in a minute is Zoe, a person who's literally been the most successful of anybody I've met in WFG, even most people in the debt industry I've ever seen roll debt. We're gonna kind of talk about it, kind of compare what she made versus what she could have made in the opportunity cost. Next slide. All right, so who in here likes the idea of building realistically? If you guys don't raise your hand, I'm gonna ask who doesn't build. No? All right. So team production, you think about this, right? The whole thing about this is, why do people come to certain businesses? Because they don't want to do the work their entire life. They want to get in, get proficient, replicate, and train other people to do that, right? Really, realistically, how many of you made your best friends in business of replication, duplication? Most people that know Jeff are from that process, right? That's how we met. So if you look at it, you're a regional director, which is one step lower from the one I was doing earlier, 70% contract. Let's say you do that 750 on your own, you're gonna make 26,250 on personal production, which 750 is not a lot. I mean, Zoe, what was your average? 75,000 was your average? 75,000. Okay. Imagine 26,000 production, but at the other company, if it was 750, she was making 7,500 bucks. So on that, you look at having 5 debt solution specialists, and on that, you override an average of 30%. That's 56,250. At the other company I was at, a person would have a team of 12, and that team would enroll about $20 million. And that supervisor had 0 override, 0 benefit, 0 bonus. Does that sound fun? Not at all. So Jason laughs because one of our bosses joined the business and didn't say. So, I mean, who would want to make $56,000 in a month? Who's done it? Man, all right. So next slide. And just for you guys, there's some bonus pools. There's some generational overrides, everything that we needed to do. Because you think about it realistically, it's not about what you make tomorrow, it's what you set up for the future going forward. So Zoe, if you can come up here for me. I think there's the next slide. There may be or may not be. Oh, you can take that down. So kind of showing you, but overall, who doesn't know? Who knows Zoe? We should have had less tables. Maybe we're gonna sit closer together. So Zoe, so your best year was how much you did?
I did about 25 million.
Combined.
Combined, yeah.
So how much did you make on?
I made 250,000.
250,000.
Yeah.
So you think about it, imagine she was at that 75% level. He is earning. Okay. So imagine the 75% level. Imagine that if she's getting that full 4%, right? Imagine times 4. It's that simple, right? The math. But tell me, what if you could tell us specifically, like what drove you to do that much? What did you find? Why was it so important to keep finding clients and then were referred to you to keep doing that? Why was it so important? I like sharing.
Well, it's really interesting how I actually got into this. It was kind of by chance. I'm an executive marketing director in World Financial Group, and I already make about $500,000 a year there. And I was busy just helping one-on-one people. And then all of a sudden, someone came to me and they had a 6-figure credit card debt, and they had gone through really valid hardships, and they didn't have a solution, and they were embarrassed about it, and all the things that he was talking about. And I went around to try to find a solution. And at the time, the Debt America was partnered with WFG. So I found out about it. I talked to about 5 to 10 different guys that worked there, found the one guy that I thought he's going to be great. And I worked with him, and I just got referrals. And so this $25 million of debt, this was like 2 years ago, because I've done about 50 million total in my career, was literally just word of mouth referral, right? And it's amazing because I saw how I could really help people with this for the right client. This was amazing. I mean, this was a guy that was paying a couple $1,000s a month in interest and couldn't keep up with it at his low 6-figure kind of income. And I was able to save him a remarkable amount of money in interest, get him out of debt over the next 3 years. He's debt free now. And while he was doing that, it helped him from being super overwhelmed. And he was able to make more money and focus and not feel so terrible. So, I mean, one of the great things that I think that I've noticed, like looking at all the speakers that have come up, is that all of us are leaving too much money on the table, and we could bring so much more value to our clients in every single area. I mean, the whole morning I was like, wow, people come to me for health insurance all the time. And I'm like, I have the license, but I don't know anything about it. And I refer it out, and I make no money. And it was really funny too. I loved meeting Clearwater Benefits guys, because I bought my policy through Clearwater Benefits. I went for years with no health insurance. This is the first health insurance I ever bought is Clearwater Benefits, right? Because I was being quoted these astronomical figures. And I'm like, I'm 30 years old. I don't have problems. I don't need to spend $2,000 a month on a high deductible crappy plan because I make money, you know? So anyway, I don't want to diverge off that, but I look at this, and to me, the one thing I can tell you about debt relief is that if you're already creating relationships, if you already are an agent for someone, if you are helping them financially, this is a no-brainer. It's the easiest, most duplicatable product to offer and help people that you can add onto what you already do. I literally, that money, that extra help, the debt settlement stuff, that was just me doing that on the side of what I already
Not
do.
even trying, right? Just referrals.
Yeah, it was just referral income, literally just referral income. And then obviously I find out later that they paid me 20% of what I could have been making doing the exact same thing, you know? But anyway, I'm really excited about this because it really helps people. One of my best agents that I have in World Financial Group, who is a senior marketing director, making about $750,000 a year, I got him through debt relief. He came to me. He had lost his job. He was $100,000 in debt. He was literally crying. I got him through that. I signed him up for Wolf Financial Group. I got him licensed in a few days, Jeff knows him real well. He was a six-figure earner his first year, made 500K his second year. He's in his third year. He's gonna cross $1 million this year. This guy is a superstar. But he was like on the floor. So I have so many stories I can tell you about how debt relief has really helped the right person. And, I've always been about help and transparency, and I'm really excited, about this being a component to the whole Bettr family.
Thank you. So there's some other stuff. I had to pull my phone out. I'm not gonna lie, because there's some facts that I wanted to throw out there that was super important. So here's the biggest thing about the process we're using. So our backend is the longest and the most experienced debt company that there is. Doing it correct, having a lot less obviously complaints somewhere else. So obviously, here's the biggest thing is a lot of the other companies out there, they have one account that all their clients, or one bank that they're with, it's all digital banks. That one bank is basically FDIC insured for $250,000 as the entire bank. Every single client's account is insured with $250,000 by FDIC. That's extremely different using a brick and mortar versus a digital bank. A client can go to that bank, actually see their money, know it's there. The company doesn't, we don't actually have it. The other one is they were audited by the British Standards Institute of Independent Accreditation for compliance to all the best practices for debt settlement companies. The only one that has that. You think about this. For those of you that have been in this business, financials, you sit with people all the time that are engulfed by debt. People that are literally, I've had people that I know take their own life because of debt. How many of you guys have family get sick and then what happens? So if you guys can see the vision on this and just helping people by sending it over, taking care of them, being able to give them that hope that they don't have to lose their home, they can get a little extra money every month. We think about it. You tell people, would extra $500 a month help you? How about we cut your credit card payments in half from $2,800 to $750? Right? Because it's happened that bad, especially when people are in really bad situations. So if you think about it, how many people do you think, like, how many people you still talk to that you put through that program?
I mean, I put a few hundred through, so successfully,
Yeah, and you think about, then it leads to everything else. You think of, so I had a client that was a U.S. state's attorney and had to go through a credit debt settlement. Right? Imagine after that, getting referral after referral after referral, when you have the credibility of the U.S. state's attorney, a former, not current, but you got athletes. I used to have athletes who would put through debt settlement. They get injured, right? Baseball player, I can't use a pitcher, I can't remember what team for because I'm not a big sports person, but he literally had to go into debt settlement. And from there, he just gives me all the other people. You think about business owners you help out. Business owners, you think about, see this a lot during COVID, ones that were massively impacted. Now they can do business debt if the business is dissolved. How many of you know people that were business owners, their business had to shut down because of COVID and they left with all this debt, they owe all these people? Well, imagine if you can give them that solution and give them a chance to know, hey, at the end of the day, there's gonna be a way you can come out of this, be on top, not file bankruptcy, and overall, just so you can restart your life with the least impact. And that's pretty much all I got, unless Jeff, there's any ideas that you want me to recover. All right, by the way, you guys probably want to take your phone out real quick, take this website down, register.yourpfn.com. Better do it quick too. It's gonna grow. Register.yourpfn.com. I'm the only one that gave it out today. I'm pretty happy with that. So if you guys need help, right there, support yourpfn.com. The Prosperity FN is still obviously, it's always going to be work in progress. I always make it bigger and better. That's the client side. So you want to see what your clients are going to actually see. Just overall, I mean, we're here to help. Realistically, I think this will be one of the biggest things that happens, especially with the way we're turning, the way the government's doing things, the way everything's happening. I think this business will be one of the biggest, generators and give you the best impact of being able to do something big. Every one of these companies, the managed health, that blows my mind. You think about it, right? Because I literally sat with somebody earlier that knows the head of UPS that I invited here today, that makes all the decisions. So imagine what every one of these things can do for you. Like I mentioned, it's a way in every aspect. Let me get you out of your debt. Then let me go ahead and get you, make sure your healthcare is taken care of. Let's go make sure you got some life insurance to protect your family. And then let's just be friends. At the end of the day, realistically, if you help somebody, what I learned from Greg Cap is I'm just here to make a friend. Whatever happens after that happens. And that's all I got for you guys. You guys have a great day. Register.yourpfn.com.
Thank you.